I've never shared this before online, mostly because it sounds like something out of a creepypasta. But it happened to me 3 years ago, and I still can't explain it. Back in 2021, I took a solo weekend trip to hike a section of the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. I'd done it a few times before, but that year I wanted to go deeper, beyond where the casual hikers usually turn back. Somewhere quiet. I signed the ranger log, tossed my backpack on, and started early in the morning. It was one of those days where the air feels heavy but calm. Everything silent except for your footsteps and the wind in the trees. Around noon, I stopped to eat a protein bar. That's when I saw him. A guy in a red flannel shirt and green hiking pack walking from the opposite direction. He smiled, nodded, and asked, "You camping overnight?" I said, "Yeah, near the ridge a few miles ahead." He paused and said, "Good spot, if you stay on the trail." The way he said it made me laugh nervously. I asked what he meant, but he just smiled again and kept walking. When I turned back after a few seconds, he was gone. Not walking, not sitting, just gone. It bugged me, but I moved on. By the time I reached the ridge, fog had rolled in. Thick, milky fog that seemed to muffle every sound. I pitched my tent and built a small fire. The quiet felt wrong. No birds, no wind, just stillness. At around 9 p.m., I heard footsteps, slow, careful ones moving along the trail. I called out, "Hello?" The steps stopped. I listened. Nothing. I figured it might be another camper, maybe even the same guy. But when I shined my flashlight out, the fog swallowed everything. Just gray emptiness. I zipped up my tent and tried to sleep, but around midnight, I woke to a sound I'll never forget. Whistling. Not a tune I recognized. Just a few notes, slow and uneven, echoing through the trees. Then it stopped. Then again, closer. I froze. The fire outside had burned down to embers, and I could see faint shadows moving through the fog. My first thought was animal, but then I heard it again. That same human whistle right outside my tent. I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer, just the sound of something brushing against the tent wall, like a hand dragging slowly down the side. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. At sunrise, I packed up immediately. My nerves were shot, and I just wanted out. After about an hour, the woods changed. The trees were darker, closer together, no sounds at all. Then I saw something hanging from a branch ahead, a torn red flannel shirt. It was the exact same kind the man had been wearing. It swung gently, even though there wasn't any wind. I turned around fast and started back the way I came. But within minutes, the markers were gone. The air felt heavier, darker. I swear the forest shifted around me, like the trail was leading me in circles. After what felt like hours, I stumbled into a small clearing. In the middle stood an old wooden cabin, half collapsed, no windows, just a dark doorway. I was desperate, so I went inside. It smelled like wet wood and rot. There was a table, a chair, and in the corner, a backpack, green, just like the one that man had. Inside was a lighter, a few energy bars, and a folded piece of paper. On it, written in pencil, "You shouldn't have left the trail." My hands started shaking. I dropped the note and ran. I didn't care which direction, I just ran until I couldn't anymore. Finally, I broke through the trees and stumbled onto a dirt road. A ranger truck was parked maybe 50 feet away. The two rangers looked shocked when they saw me. One said, "We've been looking for you." Apparently, I'd been gone for 3 days. They took me to the station, fed me, asked what happened. I told them about the man, the fog, the cabin. They exchanged looks, but didn't say much. A few days later, one of them called me privately. He said they found the cabin I mentioned. But here's the thing. It was 20 miles from the section of trail I was supposed to be on. Inside, they found multiple backpacks and clothes, some so old they were falling apart. But one detail still chills me. Among those backpacks was a small, torn luggage tag with my name written on it. The ranger swore that's what he saw before the evidence was sealed. I've never gone hiking again. Sometimes late at night when I can't sleep, I hear that same whistle. Just a few slow, uneven notes, drifting through my window like it's carried on the wind. I close my eyes and pretend it's nothing. But deep down, I know it's not. Because every time it happens, it's followed by silence. The same kind of silence I heard that night, before everything went wrong. I've thought about deleting my Reddit account so many times, but I can't. Not after what happened to me in 2019. I was 21, living alone in a small apartment in a quiet town in Oregon. Nothing ever happened there. Or at least, nothing I knew about. It started with a knock. At first, I thought it was one of my neighbors. The building was old and doors stuck, so a knock could mean anything. But this knock was different. Slow, measured, 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. I hesitated before opening the door. Nobody, just the dim hallway, empty and silent. The next day, it happened again. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. I mentioned it to my neighbor downstairs, an older woman named Mrs. Hallie. She shrugged. "Old building," she said. "Walls are thin. Maybe someone upstairs is moving furniture." But it didn't feel like that. A week later, I started hearing footsteps above me. Not just walking, but pacing. Sometimes running. Always when it was quietest, past midnight, when I was almost asleep. I never saw anyone. I called the landlord once, and he said the apartment above had been vacant for months. I laughed at that. A vacant apartment? Then who, or what, was up there? It escalated after a month. Objects started moving. Small things at first. My keys on the counter turned 90 degrees. A notebook flipped open to a page I hadn't touched. My coffee mug moved from the table to the stove. I told myself I was imagining things. Sleep deprivation can do that. But then one night I woke up to a whisper. "Help me." It was faint, almost drowned out by the hum of the fridge. I froze. My heart pounded. I whispered back, "Who's there?" Nothing. Just the floorboards above me creaking in response. I called a friend, Mike, who lived a few blocks away, to stay over. That night we both heard it. Footsteps pacing above, heavy, deliberate. Then faint tapping on my ceiling, almost like a rhythm. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. Mike tried to reassure me. "Maybe it's a raccoon in the attic," he said. Except the building had no attic. The next day, I reported it to the police. They sent someone to check the apartment upstairs. It was empty. Nothing. No furniture, no signs of habitation. I started noticing other things missing. My phone charger, some books. Not all at once. Never more than 1 or 2 items at a time. Always small, seemingly insignificant. But it built up. Then, a week later, my neighbor downstairs knocked frantically on my door. Her voice trembled. "Have you seen my cat?" I hadn't. She went quiet. Then asked slowly, "You haven't seen it, right?" I shook my head. "Check your balcony," she whispered. I did, and my stomach sank. There was her cat staring at me, but something was wrong. Its eyes were wide, too wide. Its pupils were uneven, and it hissed, not like a normal cat, but like it was scared of something behind me. I turned. Nothing. I locked the balcony door and went back inside, trying to convince myself I was overreacting. That night, I woke up to my bedroom door creaking open. I sat up. My laptop was on my bed, screen lit, a new document open. I never leave documents open at night. On it, typed in uneven letters, was, "I see you. Don't look up." I froze. Then the tapping started. From above. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. I couldn't take it anymore. I left the apartment that night and didn't come back until morning. When I returned, the door was locked. The front door to the building was also locked. Nothing unusual, except the apartment above mine was rented out. I never met the new tenant, never saw anyone move in. Weeks passed. I tried to put it behind me, but the knocking continued, though less often. The pacing upstairs. Items disappearing. Whispers. Always whispers at night. Then it happened again, worse than ever. I came home from work one evening to find a note slipped under my door. Small, neat handwriting. It said, "She's mine now, don't look up." I had no idea who she was. No one was missing, as far as I knew. I checked the building, neighbors, the police. Nothing. No reports. That night, I stayed up until sunrise, drinking coffee and listening. Around 2 a.m., I heard a faint scratching from the ceiling, followed by soft breathing, almost human. I don't know why I did it, but I looked up. Nothing, except a shadow moved across the ceiling. Not the shape of a person. Too long, stretched, like something crawling, but too smooth. It vanished as quickly as it appeared. I moved out the next day. I told myself it was over, but even now, when I think about it, I can still hear those taps in my head. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps, and sometimes, late at night, I get a message on my phone from a number I don't recognize. Nothing in the text, just a photo, a shadow behind my old bedroom door. I never went back. I still don't know what or who it was. I've told this to almost no one. Even my closest friends don't know the details, because they wouldn't believe me. Maybe you won't either. But this is exactly what happened to me in late 2020, during a short road trip through rural Wyoming. I was driving alone from Cheyenne to Yellowstone. Nothing unusual at first, just endless stretches of highway, golden fields, and the occasional farmhouse. I left in the afternoon, hoping to make it to a small town near the park before nightfall. I remember the sun dipping behind the hills when I passed a turnoff that wasn't on my GPS. A small dirt road, barely visible, winding into dense forest. I hesitated. I'm not someone who likes shortcuts, but curiosity got the better of me. It looked like it could shave at least 20 minutes off my trip. I turned onto it. The first few miles were fine, just narrow, winding dirt paths with trees on either side. Then, as the sun completely set, the forest seemed to close in. My headlights barely reached past the curve ahead. My radio cut out, then static, then silence. I shrugged it off. Maybe it was just the terrain. That's when I noticed the signs. Old road signs, rusted and unreadable, pointing deeper into the woods. I remember thinking, this doesn't lead to Yellowstone, but I was already too far in. Turning back felt wrong, like the road didn't want me to. I kept driving. After a while, I noticed something strange. My odometer barely moved, yet the landscape seemed to stretch forever. Trees I had passed earlier appeared again. Shadows moved at the edge of my headlights, just faint shapes, like figures watching from the trees. Then I saw it, a figure on the side of the road. A man, or at least he looked human, wearing a gray hoodie, standing completely still. I slowed, rolled down my window, but he didn't move. Not when I honked, not when I called out, just staring. And then he disappeared. No footsteps, no sound, nothing. Just gone, like he was never there. I tried to shake it off and kept driving, but the sense of being watched grew heavier. The road twisted in ways that didn't make sense. Curves appeared where there shouldn't be curves. Trees leaned in over the road, blocking the moonlight. My phone still had no signal. GPS showed the road continuing straight, but in front of me it curved sharply into darkness. My headlights caught movement again, glimpses of someone, or multiple people, just at the edge of visibility. I slammed on the brakes, but the car didn't stop. I swear I didn't hit the accelerator, but the speed climbed anyway. I tried to swerve. Trees were all around. Nothing ahead but fog. Then a clearing. It was a small parking area, abandoned, with a single broken-down shack. I pulled over, heart racing. I needed to think. Inside the shack, there was nothing except an old lantern and a small note pinned to the wall. "You shouldn't be here. Turn back before it's too late." I laughed nervously, telling myself someone had played a prank. I was miles from any town. It had to be old. I picked up the note and stepped outside. Then I saw the road. It wasn't there anymore. The path I had driven on disappeared. Just trees, dense forest in every direction. I spun the car around, tried to retrace my steps. Nothing. Every turn led me deeper into the same dense woods. I could feel it. Something was forcing me onward, though I had no idea what. There were no people, just empty tents, burnt-out fire pits, and footprints, too small to be adult, too human to be anything else. They led into the forest and vanished. I followed them for a few minutes, but the forest swallowed them. The lights flickered, dimmed, and disappeared. I ran back to the car, now terrified beyond belief. I drove in circles, trying to find the original road. Then I saw it again. A figure. This one was closer, half hidden in fog. A woman. Her hair long and dark, face pale, staring at me. I stopped. She didn't move, she didn't blink, just watched. When I blinked, she was gone. I kept driving. Somehow I eventually emerged onto a highway I recognized. My GPS told me I'd only driven about 2 miles on that road. In reality, it had felt like hours. I got to the town near Yellowstone and booked a motel immediately. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I went to a gas station and asked the clerk if he knew about the dirt road. He stared at me blankly. "Which one?" I described it. He shook his head. "That road doesn't exist anymore. It was closed years ago after a series of disappearances. People who went down there never came back." I didn't ask questions. I paid, got in my car, and left. I still drive that route occasionally, though I never take that dirt road. But sometimes late at night, when I'm alone on the highway, I swear I see her. The woman in the fog, standing by the roadside, watching. And sometimes in the rearview mirror, I catch glimpses of other shapes in the woods, just out of sight. Too quick to get a proper look, too close to ignore. I don't know what I saw that night. I don't know if anyone else ever will. All I know is that road exists somewhere between the trees, and it's waiting for the next person to take it. And if you ever see a small dirt turnoff with trees leaning too closely together, with the forest silent except for a whisper of wind, please just keep driving, because some roads don't want to be found.